Hello YouTube. A little something different for you today. I thought I'd do a tool review. I'm doing some work on my 1995 Toyota Tacoma, doing some cylinder head work and a head gasket, and I had a need for a pulley holder. So I bought this from OTC. They say it's from the Stinger series, and OTCTools.com. It's the universal pulley holder, and the model number is 4754. And I needed a tool to hold my camshaft timing pulleys and the gears on the camshaft itself for a little bit of work. I'll show you that in a second. So we're going to put this thing through its paces and see how it works. Let's begin by doing the traditional unboxing. It comes in this long sleeve. It looks like a nice sturdy plastic case that it comes in. And it comes with some foam, I guess, to keep it from rattling around. So my first impressions are this is a much bigger, more stout tool than I was expecting from the pictures. I ordered this from Amazon, but it's available from different sources. The gauge of the steel is a 1/4 inch thick, and it's got a heavy rivet here at the pivot point and a nice plastic coated handle. It also comes with various size pins. This is a pretty heavy gauge pin with a threaded end on them, all the way down to these small gauge pins, as well as 2 threaded knurled nuts. So the idea is if you take the pins and screw them into the tool, then you can insert the tool into the pulley and engage the pins into, I guess, the splines of the pulley or bolt holes or whatever you have available, and then you can hold it while you remove the nut that's in the middle of the pulley. These largest pins seem to be such a gauge that I think they'd be pretty durable even on a really big application. The smaller pins, however, may tend to be a little bit fragile. I'm not sure you'd use this on a real heavy-duty job, but if you have something that requires a pin to fit into a small hole, you'd have to go with something like this. But I've got a couple of applications that I need this on, so let's put it through its paces and see how it does. So what I have here is the intake camshaft from my Tacoma, and it's got an interesting gear arrangement here. These are actually 2 gears sandwiched together. There's a main gear and a sub gear with a little gap in between. So here you can see the main gear and the sub gear and the gap between. There's a torsion spring between these 2 gears that provides some tension as it meshes with the other gear on the other cam, the exhaust cam, and so that the gears are held tight with the other cam and there's no slop. Now what we need to do here is use our pulley holding tool in 2 of these holes and rotate it against that torsion spring such that I can put a service bolt in through one of these holes and lock it in place before I can install it back into the cylinder head. Just so you can see what's going on here, here are the parts that go together in this assembly. Here is the torsion spring, or gear spring they call it. This is the sub gear itself. It sits on top of or beside the main gear. Then there's a wave washer, and on top of that goes the snap ring to hold the whole thing together. So here's how it goes together. First we take this torsion spring, set it down in there, and there's a pin on the main gear right there, and we'll push that over so that this end of the torsion spring rests against that pin. Then the sub gear is going to go on next. The sub gear has a pin right here, and that pin is going to sit in that little void between the other pin and the spring, so we can apply pressure against the spring. The wave washer goes on, followed by the snap ring. Now there's a service hole right here through which I'm supposed to put a service bolt to hold the tension against that torsion spring between now and when I install it back into the cylinder head. I can't put it in right now, obviously, because the hole in the main gear is over here and doesn't line up with the hole that's in the sub gear here. So I have to rotate this against that spring until those holes line up. Well, it's way too strong of a spring for me to do by hand. Good thing I have a new pulley holding tool to make that job easier. So I've installed the smallest pins into the tool, adjusted the angle of the jaws so that they're the right distance apart. Install the pins into the two holes. Now I can easily rotate the gear such that the holes line up. And I can now install the service bolt and then release the tension. Now I'm ready to install this cam back into my cylinder head. So that was a relatively small job. I probably could have devised some other technique for doing that. It's too hard to turn by hand, but I probably could have put a rag on there and used some channel locks or something like that, but running the risk of damaging the teeth. That method I just used was definitely the proper way to do it, and the tool made it really simple. So let's try the tool in a different application. I'm reinstalling this camshaft timing pulley on my truck here, and I need to torque down this bolt to 81 foot-pounds. And of course this thing's going to want to rotate on me. So I'm installing the largest pins that come with the tool. You just screw them in like so. And the knurled nuts that come with it on the back, I guess to keep them from backing out. I don't see that these are really necessary because they screw in pretty tightly. Now take the pins and insert them into the gear. So now I've got a firm grasp on the timing belt pulley, just like that. Now with the camshaft timing gear held securely now by the tool, I should be able to use my torque wrench and apply the proper 81 foot-pounds to tighten this bolt. Let's give it a try. Let's try the tool on the right-hand side now. So that really worked great on these camshaft timing pulleys. The little lip on the end of these pins just really eliminated any chance of it popping off or slipping, and applying that 81 foot-pounds against it was really, really easy. So I give it a real thumbs up for this application. In fact, the use of these knurled nuts on the pins even secured them even more so. So there's my review of the OTC Universal Pulley Holder. I really liked it. It made my job really easy. I'll often invest in a new tool when I do a new job that I haven't done before. That way I offset the cost of the tool by how much I save by doing the job myself. You might also be interested in my upcoming video series where I actually use this tool for my cylinder head and cylinder head gasket repair. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.